Okay.
Welcome back to the Buckethead and King Show.
Let me tell y'all something. It's hard being Buckethead and the King. I'm just letting y'all know. You just can't start at the top.
Buckethead and the King is not no breakfast.
And the King's popping his collar.
I pop my collar.
Go against a team. You don't have to hate nobody. Just dislike them a little bit.
We're going to do some run-on sentences. We're going to mess around and say won't when it's supposed to be a different won't. And do not try to call up here and try to check us in. Because I'm telling y'all right now, can't nobody beat us bragging on us.
Yeah. Don't nobody like to talk more about themselves than Buckethead and the King does.
Don't ever forget that I got my newspaper in my wallet.
Welcome back to another edition of Buckethead and King Show right here on High School Primetime TV 24 Primetime Sports, the leading sports network in your area. Believe that. But as you can see, Buckethead's again by himself in the chair. The King is AWOL, MIA, MO, whatever you want to call it. He always says he's signing autographs, but there's no telling where the King's at. But maybe he'll decide he wants to join the show later. But we got great guests coming in today. We've got Coach Rico Jackson from the Anniston Bulldogs, and we'll catch up later with Coach Clint Smith of the Jacksonville Golden Eagles and talk about the TV 24 Primetime Sports matchup of the week The Anniston Bulldogs are headed into the newly renovated Jacksonville Golden Eagle Stadium, and that is going to be a big one and has a lot of it's going to tell us right quick, like early in the season, where both these teams will stand in region standings and who will be at home and who will be on the road for the playoffs. Hanley still got some stuff to say to that. Hanley, you know, last week Jacksonville went to Hanley and played an unbelievable game. One of the games for the ages, back and forth. Jacksonville led, Hanley led. Hanley came out on top. We already know that Anniston has went and played Andalusia, the number one team in the state. And what people forget about that game is it was 7-0 at halftime. Even though the final score was a blowout, it was 7-0 at halftime. So when we get Coach Rico in here, we'll put him in the hot seat and ask him a few questions about that game and just see exactly what happened in the second half and how it looked so different between the second half and the first half. But this week we got some great games coming up, and we'll get into them. I'm going to try to wait until the King, if he actually shows up, I'm going to try to wait till he gets here to get into some of the games so I can get his expertise on picking. That's a joke. But like I said, Coach Rico Jackson for the Anniston Bulldogs will be here. We're waiting on him to walk through the door now. But let's do this while we're waiting. Let's just do some rundown on how the top 10 in each classification fared last week, just to get you caught up. Number 1 in 1A, Leroy played McIntosh, defeated them 41-0. Number 2, Elba in 1A. They're 3-0 now. Defeated Houston County 49-14. Number 3, Pickens County, 3-0, defeated Summerton Christian 56-0. I can say most of these are blowouts. Number 4 would be Lynn, and they lost to Alabama Christian, which is playing up, and they lost 20-30. So that's a respectable score. I don't see them falling too far. The new polls come out today. They haven't come out yet. We'll see them later tonight. Brantley, number 5, played McKenzie, beat them 30-28. That was a really close game. Sweetwater defeated the University Charter School 41-6. Millery defeated Southern Choctaw 54-0. Florella lost to Georgiana 44-0, so they will drop out of the top 10. Meek, they're 2-1. They defeated Waterloo 52-14. And Spring Garden, they lost to Wadley 41-7. Here's one thing I want to say about that. One thing that one team that you're missing out of that poll is Coosa Christian, and how they got left out of that, I don't know. But Coach has showed up. We'll get this and get him on the show with us. I'll put him in the hot seat and ask him some hot questions. But he's putting his makeup on now, getting him all pampered up, making him look good for camera. Yeah, you run the video. We got a video that producer Eric's putting together. It's we're not quite mid-season, but it's a lot of mid-season highlights.
I work my fingers to the bone till I ain't got nothing left. I earned everything I own, signed my name with blood and sweat. And it goes 1 time if your boots get muddy, 2 times if your truck ain't clean, 3 times if you're just like me. This one's for the home team. This one's for the home team. blood and sweat. And it goes 1 time if your boots get money, 2 times if your truck ain't clean, 3 times if you're just like me. This one's for the home team. This one's for the home team. Put 'em up if you're just like me. This one's for the home team.
That's a pretty neat video. And like I said, that's not even half the season, so you can see a lot of kids are doing a lot of great things. You can see now Coach Rico Jackson has joined us. Coach, glad to have you. Big win last week.
Glad to get the win. Still a lot of work to do.
Well, you know, the good thing about it is you're building, you knew what you were doing with your program. You come in and your offense is evolving into what you wanted it to be.
Right.
I never really questioned your defense.
Right.
And here's the thing, you went and played Andalusia. We know Andalusia's the number 1 team in the state.
Right.
But a lot of people, and I alluded to this earlier before you got on the show, a lot of people don't realize that game was a 7-0 game at halftime.
Right.
And you know, so you guys could play with them. It's just things happened in the second half. That you couldn't control.
I agree. I think the score not an indication of how the game went. We played well first half. The boys played well first half. We had a couple drives bogged down, mainly because of penalties. I feel like the Andalusia game a lot of it was no disrespect to them. It was more about Anderson. And we went back to the drawing board and bounced back well this week.
Yeah, this week, I mean, like I said, I was at most of the game. I thought never was in doubt. I think Mumford put together a couple big runs right there at halftime. They drove down. Y'all kept them out of the end zone.
Correct.
But and block kick. Jay Money blocked the field goal they tried to kick.
True.
And so, I mean, but that's a testament to your defense, because I think Mumford has a decent offensive line.
Right.
And Tank's going to give you all he can give you, their running back.
I think he's one of the best backs in the region, to be honest with you. He runs hard. He's low to the ground.
Low to the ground.
He's fast. He's physical. Their offensive line they're coached well. They're physical. They're big. The center was huge. They got a tight end in 96. I know he's about 6'5", 300. So I was really excited about how we played and stepped up. We just got to cut down those mental errors, you know. And once we do that, we're gonna be fine.
So let's get an early feel about this week. This is our biggest matchup of the week. It's our game of the week, the Anniston-Jacksonville game. You're going to Jacksonville, newly renovated stadium. They're all fired up about that, which you would be too. And,
No doubt.
And so give me your take on what you see, what's key to the games for Anniston,
Okay.
and just let me know what you think about that game and how it'll unfold.
Number one, their quarterback is unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. I give him another star last week.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if he's a 3-star. I give him a 4-star.
He got a rocket on his arm. They got a big-time receiver, number 7. I think he's underrated within the state. They got another receiver, number 12, that's really good.
Yeah, what's his name, McIntosh?
Yes.
And so I think he's really good, and the Fisher kid is the number.
That's number
7.
Right.
And everybody talks about the Fisher kid coming in the season. I'm more impressed with number 12. Somehow he gets open, and he's a tall, lanky, long kid that can make plays.
He does make plays. You can tell that they've been together for a long time, the quarterback and the receivers, because they're in sync. When he scrambles, they know how to get open. They know how to find space in the defense. Defensively, they're really scrappy. They're not real big, it looked like, but they're really scrappy. They play hard. They kind of mix and match. They do give you a little 3-man look. They can give you a 4-man look. So it's going to be a challenge for us. We're excited. We had 2 really good days of practice. Yesterday, our practice was really good. The last 10 minutes was shaky, but the whole practice was good for the most part. The day was great. I mean, all the way through. I felt like a championship practice today. So
Good.
Now we got to put together tomorrow. We got to put together Thursday and keep pushing.
Well, you know, the good thing about it is, just like we said, alluded to earlier, your team is evolving.
Right.
I mean, you can't take week 1 to week 2 to week 3. I mean, you're evolving. One thing I liked about this week, we got Dobbs, got him more comfortable in the system.
No doubt.
He got more involved this week. I thought he looked a lot better this week than he has all year.
I agree. He's and our playmakers got to make plays, and he did that this week. We made a conscious effort to get him, TK Downey involved. Jay Money's going to be there. Quinn Sykes ran the ball hard. We had a young running back.
I was going to say you brought out a young running back that really looked good.
Both of them did.
Yeah.
We call him William Grayson. Brock came in on 38. He ran the ball hard. So, like, we're starting to find pieces. We're moving people around. We reshuffle some of the offensive line. So we're feeling confident as we move forward through this thing.
I mean, that's all you can ask for.
No doubt.
This early in the season, just keep building. I mean, you're going to find new things that you didn't know,
Right.
and the kids didn't know.
No doubt.
And so you're going to find new things as you go through, and you're going to adjust to them. Good coaches adjust to them.
No doubt.
And like I said, I'm excited about this game. I watched both of you guys play. There's a lot of question marks that I want you guys, both teams are going to have to answer for
Right.
me this Friday. One of the things that I know skill-wise, I don't think Jacksonville has seen skill-wise the kind of kids you have that I've seen play for you this year
Right.
in the defensive back and at linebacker.
Got it.
I don't think they've seen that type of defensive backs all year long. Not taking anything away from Hanley,
Right.
but I just don't think they've seen that. Their offensive line, we all knew that coming into the season. Even Coach Clint Smith knew coming into the season that was a question mark.
Okay.
So here's the thing: are they one-dimensional? Are they two-dimensional? We got to find that out.
I think the running back is really good as well. I think he runs the ball hard. So we have to take care of the run while we take care of the pass. I know that sounds crazy like an oxymoron, but we got to start the run first.
Oh yeah.
And contain 7. I mean, he's dynamic with his arm, and he's pretty mobile to be his size.
People don't know the kid can run.
Right.
He can really run, and he gets out of the pocket, he can hurt you.
Right, no doubt. So
One of the things that, and I'm not asking direct questions because we got a ball game to play, and I don't want you to be giving. I don't want no bulletin board. I don't want you putting no bulletin board information up for them,
Right.
and I won't do Clint the same way for you guys.
what our kids already have, they made us homecoming.
You right. I didn't think about that. Right. So I didn't think about that. So they already got it. So yeah, you hope that you go in and some of your kids can be the homecoming king when they make you homecoming. That's a little. Everybody knows that. It may. I'm not getting on them, but may work that because that was the only game on the schedule at this time of year that they could do it. But if that's not the reason, it's disrespectful to the team, and everybody knows that. Nobody wants to be somebody's homecoming.
Right.
Because usually they know they're going to beat you in the ground. So I don't know what they're thinking up there maybe. The thing about me was I never wanted to have a tough game on homecoming.
Right.
Because my kids got too many other distractions.
Right.
And so it's hard to rein them in. But, I just feel like Anderson's successful in this ball game. They will have to stop the pass first.
No doubt.
Because if you can turn them into a running team, I think you've done something that the other ones haven't done. Nobody else has done yet.
Yeah, we know we have to contain 7. That is their guy, and he's a really good football player. I mean, he makes plays all over the field.
Well, you seen that it was on that video just a while
doubt.
ago we were
No
showing.
doubt.
So
that's we know that as a staff, and our kids know that. It's a respect thing. So. I believe we're gonna get after it. I'm excited for Friday, but we got to keep building and make sure we're ready to go.
And I here's the thing: I haven't talked to Clint yet. I'll talk to him later, but I feel like he's gonna say the same thing. He's gonna start calling out numbers and kids,
Right.
and you know what I'm saying.
Right, I'm with you.
So because it's a respect thing, and he knows you got just as many dogs as he does. So this is the thing. I don't know if anybody's been watching Anderson and Jacksonville this year, but this weekend is going to be a good ball game. I look for it to be whoever's got the ball last, honestly, because I think both of y'all can hurt each other's defense.
Right. Well, for us and for me, as far as the coach and seeing us play, I just want us to play clean. Last week we won the game and by margin, but we're not as clean as I want us to be. So I kind of came in Sunday with not an attitude, but I felt some type of way, even though I do accept the win.
Yeah.
And we just need to get cleaner. We got to get cleaner. That was a big message this week. Is is focusing on your job and doing your job to the best of your ability.
Well, and here's the thing. My son was a coach. You know that.
Right.
I used to tell him discipline teams will win you 3 games that they wasn't supposed to win.
Bottom line.
And so, and when I say discipline, I'm talking about cleaning up.
That's right.
That's what I'm talking about. Don't throw that extra jab. Don't grab that jersey
right.
when you don't have to.
That's right.
Don't do this. Don't jump off sides. Watch the football. Just cleaning it up, little things like that go a long way in a football game.
No doubt.
Especially one like Friday night.
No doubt. No doubt. It's going to be high intensity, and we got to learn how to keep our composure and just go play football. So,
up to this point, who's been your biggest surprise?
That's a good question.
Because, you came in with your eye on a bunch of kids. You've been told all year, this kid coming in. Who's been the biggest surprise?
Probably Kamar Holder. He's about 6'3", 215, defensive end.
Defensive end.
Yeah.
When you said that, I was going to say that's the defensive end.
Right.
Because I like him too.
Yeah,
I didn't know his name, but I like him too.
He's really.
So I know Kamar now.
He's really stepped up. I'm really proud of him, but he got to keep it going. You got to keep going. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder. Before he got hurt, LaDarian Tyson, he's our other defensive end. He was playing really well. Colin Wanzar has stepped up, played big time minutes for us. It's a bunch of them. James Brown, he was our starting H-back. Now he's our starting left guard. So he'll do whatever we ask him to do. One of our coaches called him James Brown, the hardest working man in show business.
I like it.
So he's yes sir, no sir. Just a bunch of kids have really stepped up and what people don't think, this is a different team than last year. We lost 20, 25
Oh,
seniors.
yeah.
And we had three defections. So, we're totally new. And, we're building an identity of what we want to be. So.
Well, yeah, because, like you said, with as many seniors as you lost, and then the 3 that left, you can't do nothing about that. They left.
Right.
But your identity changed completely.
No doubt.
With the 20 kids, forget about them 3.
Right.
The 20 that you lost.
No doubt.
Your identity changed.
No doubt.
Because nothing against your guys this year. Last year, your line could push people around a little bit.
No doubt.
Everybody in the state knows that.
No doubt.
And so it's just it's a new look at a different team.
It is. I like us because we're gritty, man. We're not as big. We're not 6'5", but we're gonna come off that football, and we're gonna get cleaner as we go. Once we get that stuff rectified, I feel like we're gonna be a team to be reckoned with.
Well, the one thing greedy, I'll take greedy over size any day of the week.
No doubt.
Because a kid that's playing with a chip on his shoulder and gets after it, that's a kid I want.
No doubt.
Because sometimes them big kids, they already made it.
Yeah.
They know they made it. They get a little lazy on you. Not saying that team did.
Right, no
but
doubt.
you know what I'm saying.
Right.
That superstar, he ain't got to prove nothing to nobody. He's already got his ticket.
You know what's crazy? Even our kids that have offers and our better players, they work their tails off at practice. Jay Money practice like you play, and play like you practice. Dobbins is the same way. We practice hard.
Well, them 2 you just named off are different, and I'll get beat up for this. They're different kids
Right.
from most kids in our area. Right. That's the kind of kids you want on your team.
Oh, no doubt.
They're competitors from the time they walk out there to the time they come on.
No doubt.
And it's just different. I watch them. I watch how they talk to one another during the game. I watch how they compete against the other team during the game. It's just a different kid.
No doubt. It's something. To be honest with you, you really don't coach. That's in them.
It's in them.
And
you wish you had about 20 more of them.
Oh man. And we have a bunch of them like that.
I'm not talking about skilled guys. I'm just talking about 20 other guys with that kind of attitude.
Right.
And personality.
Right. So I'm excited about our group. I like our group a lot. I feel like we got a chance, but we have to keep getting better every week. So.
Well, I think, like I said, based on people don't know it, it was a 7 points game at halftime against Andalusia.
Right.
And like I said, ever since that game, he ain't got nothing to hang his head about because they're gonna do that to a bunch of people.
And it was 7-0, and we dropped 2 picks. One of them, I feel like both of them really probably would have been a pick six. And we dropped a block punt on the way to the end zone, and they jumped on it. That's 21 points.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So we have to make those plays when it's time.
And good thing about it is, That's an early in the year measuring stick,
Right.
and it only made your kids hungrier.
It made us hungry. It made us better. We did a lot of correction. We did a lot of film work. Did a lot of film time. Man, those drones changed the game. Like,
You're exactly right.
We can see everything.
I mean, that a game changer. I seen y'all's in y'all's end zone the other night when I was there, and I didn't even know y'all had a drone. But I mean, that is a game changer now.
Oh man, so like
You can't hide from that.
you can't hide.
You used to get hide.
Yeah, the
You
camera's
can't
got
hide
no
from
lie.
that.
No doubt.
Well, you know, one good thing about it is we're still early in the year.
Right.
You played 3 games.
Right.
You're 2-1 right now. You played the number 1 team in the state. Top 10 matchup this week.
No doubt.
And I mean, so it's not, I mean, it don't get any easier for you.
Nah.
Because after this one, you got Hanley on the schedule, and
You got Piedmont on the schedule.
Piedmont on the schedule.
Like,
So I
and
mean,
even the other teams in the region, you got the White Plains. They're gonna be hungry. It's kind of like when the Bulls were the best, and when the Lakers are the best. Everybody give them their best game. So we're gonna have to be ready to play.
I think you're gonna get everybody's best game. It's just, you know, I think y'all's region's a little top heavy.
Okay.
I think nothing against Bill. I love Bill. You know that.
Right.
They struggle, and White Plains is struggling, and White Plains don't have 2 seniors.
Wow.
I mean, so you're going to struggle when you don't have that class. You got to have. I mean, and their leaders. It's hard to win with 2 seniors.
Right. It's just they're young.
And but Cleveland County's been a surprise to me in y'all's region.
Okay.
They've been a surprise to me. I think they're gritty. I'm losing Colin McGrin really hurt them, their quarterback. But I mean, they're gritty. But I think there's really 3 teams that are top heavy in y'all's that. And I'm not. Listen, I'm just talking. I'm not taking anything away from anybody.
Right.
I just think there's 3 top 10 teams in that region, and I mean that's saying something.
Well, I mean, we worried about Jacksonville.
You worry about Jacksonville. You don't
That's
care
it.
about none of the rest of them.
We'll get them when we get to them.
Well, I would be too.
Right.
I mean, I would be too, and we've talked about it. They got a quarterback that he's a little underrated, if you ask me.
I agree.
And I think your quarterback. I know your quarterback. I've known him for years. I think I don't think he's underrated because I don't think nobody's looking at him right now.
Right.
But that's because I think he's just now getting his feet wet
He getting
in
into
your
a groove.
system.
I agree.
And
I agree.
so last week I seen a different kid than I've
Right.
seen the first 2 weeks.
He's really getting into a groove. He had a great day today. I mean, he was throwing some dimes. So, like,
And he can do that. I've seen him do it for the last couple years.
he's just get. And sometimes it takes time to mesh. You know, even like the first game, we didn't play a jamboree, so that was essentially almost like a jamboree game for us.
Yeah.
I'm new. I got new coordinators. The players new. The new team. New atmosphere. Like, so, just putting all that stuff together. I mean, it just take time.
Well, I mean, I said it before you got here. They got the right man.
Appreciate it.
And I think. Listen, Anderson faithful know it.
Right.
I mean, it don't take. I mean, Ray Charles tells Steve Wonder what you're playing with. You got a brand new team, and you don't have the team that was there last year. Not saying that team that was there last year is any better than this team.
Right.
I'm just saying that team that was there last year had played 3 years together,
Right.
and a lot of them you lost 25 of them.
Yeah.
So I mean that's a big deal.
It is.
And so end of the season, y'all keep clicking along, 1 game at a time.
No doubt.
And I feel like you'll be right where you want to be at the end of the season.
I appreciate that.
And guys, this has been, first class guy right here. First class guy. I tried to tell everybody that before he got here. Program, not that it wasn't run the right way before, but I no doubt about it, it's run the right way right now.
No doubt.
I mean, there's no question.
No question. That's what we do.
And there's no question about getting in trouble for this or that. If it's not by the books, this man's not going to do it.
Bottom line.
And listen, you should want your kids to play for somebody like that. I mean, 100%. And like I said, nothing against anybody. That's just, we tell it like it is on this show, and we might have to listen to some people bark, but we don't care. We don't care if we always say this, Coach. We only got a 2-man huddle, so if you ain't in the huddle, we don't care what you got to say. You guys got the same big huddle, so we always tell kids, if your hand ain't in the huddle, we don't care what that outside noise says.
I got you.
Because we're the only ones putting the blood, sweat, and tears in.
Right.
So,
Right.
but we'll pay some bills. I know you got to go somewhere else.
Yep.
But I'm glad you came in and talked. Guys, if you don't have anything to do, go to Jacksonville, watch these guys play. That's going to be a big game. It's the biggest one in our area. I know we got some other big games. This game right here with implications in the area and who plays at home in the playoffs, who plays on the road. This is a big game.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, Coach.
No
Thanks
doubt.
for coming
Appreciate
in.
it. No doubt.
Coach Rico Jackson, Anderson Bulldogs.
Welcome to the Winning Drive. I'm Chandler Tyree.
I'm Scott Tyree, better known as Buckethead.
For all the action leading up to Friday Night Football, tune in to TV24 Primetime Sports, The Winning Drive, where we will take you right up to kickoff for Friday night's games.
Yeah, you won't have to miss a thing. I know sometimes you got to travel a long way to get to the game. Hey, tune in to the Winning Drive. Me and Coach will bring you in, bring you all the way up to kickoff.
If you're the family with kids playing sports and the parents that are running 2 ways at once, then a Team 1 Chevy is perfect for your team. Baseball, softball, and soccer families can travel in all-American style with a new Chevy from Team 1. Bank on the best deal, a great selection, and the perfect vehicle for your all-American team.
Interest rates as low as 1.9% and no payments for 90 days when you finance with GM Financial.
Home of the best people, the best service, period.
When it rains, it pours. Be certain that your house is ready to survive the next storm. Noah's Ark specializes in protecting everything that is inside of your house by keeping water where it belongs, outside. Schedule your free home assessment today. Call Noah's Ark at 256-453-1580 or visit noahsarkwaterproof.com. Noah's Ark. Keep water out. Protect what's valuable in.
Welcome back to the Buckethead Show. The King's not here still. Like I said, maybe he'll decide to join us. But that was a great interview with the head coach at Anderson Bulldogs, Coach Rico Jackson, giving us a little insight about the game. Now, he said, the one thing he said that I sort of changed on him at the end was, got to stop the run and stop the pass. Well, I think for Anderson Bulldogs to be successful, and I'm not second guessing, but I did tell him this, is he wants to make them a one-dimensional team, and he wants to stop the pass and make them run, because I think their bread and butter is throwing the ball all over the place. And so he wasn't giving up too many secrets, and I wasn't going to put him on the hot seat too bad, because I didn't want to get any bulletin board potential bulletin board material for Jacksonville to put up. But he brought up a good point. Jacksonville made them homecoming. I mean, made Anniston homecoming. That's pretty disrespectful to you, unless the schedule worked out that way and that's your only home game in the middle of the season. But you never can tell. I mean, maybe it pumped their team up to put Anniston as homecoming, but I can guarantee you, Anniston's gonna go in feeling disrespected that they're Jacksonville's homecoming. But let's go back to this 1A we were talking about, the top 10. One thing I was looking at that I seen last week when the polls came out, that Coosa Christian and Wadley were both left off the top 10. And this is Buckethead's infinite wisdom. I'm gonna just about bet that both of them teams Coosa Christian and Wadley may be the two teams that you see. Well, it depends on if I don't know if Wadley's in the South, which they should be. But the way they do it, it's all messed up. But if Wadley's in the South, Coosa Christian in the North, I think them two teams will meet in the Super 7, and they're not even ranked this late in the year in the third round, which is funny to me. But I mean, I can promise you that Coach O'Brien don't care. He doesn't care. O'Brien don't care nothing about it, and Coach Motley don't care nothing about rankings. They just want to keep winning. Because if they keep winning, they'll meet each other in the Super 7. I just thought it was funny that that we still have people in the sports world doing sports. I mean, actually giving sport reporters that are living off names and not actually what's happening during the season. I'm going to move to 2A, get off of that. I beat that dead horse long enough. But number one team in 2A is B.B. Comer, and I think they are well deserving of that number one spot. Bradley Mears, you are correct. I hate to see if you're calling Pell City to beat Oxford, and the Kings already MIA, I'd hate to see what's going to happen if Pell City does actually pull that off against Oxford. I don't personally think it could happen, but I'm just looking at your posts. B.B. Comer, number one, well deserved. They defeated Woodland 45-0. Highland Home is second, and they beat number 7 Goshen 42-21. Pisgah, they played Sandrock. We knew going into that game Pisgah was not going to be tested. They beat Sandrock 50-7. 5. We talked about it. Nobody wanted to play 5 after a loss. Nobody wants to play 5 after they lost. You don't want to go and play 5 when they're, I ain't going to say it, but they're mad. And so they defeated North Sand Mountain 53-0, a big goose egg. Reeltown 5th defeated Lafayette 41-6. Vincent, another one of our local teams. Reeltown, we counted them a local team. 5, we counted the local team. B.B. Comer, definitely a local team. So Vincent defeated Central Coosa 57-0. I think they're for real. Goshen, another one of our teams that's in our area. Like I said, they played number 2 Highland Home, got doubled up 42-21. Tuscaloosa Academy defeated Aliceville 44-23. Luverne, they defeated Barber County 42-0, and Harrington defeated Geneva County 35-6. Let's go into 3A, and let's talk about this team here. I think this team right here is one of the better teams in the state up until they get to a bigger 6A classification. Mars Hill in 3A is as good as they come, beat Colbert Heights 54-0. Mars Hill also has a big win, a big blowout win over Coleman, which is a 6A school, earlier this year. Mobile Christian, Bradley's talking about that. I'm going to go with that. He's talking about Oxford. Can they come up here and beat a young Hartselle team? I feel like this year they will definitely come in and beat the Hartselle team. I don't know. I just hadn't been impressed with what Hartselle's done up to this point. I mean, they're a good team, but not as good as Oxford. St. James is 3rd in 3A. I try to tell everybody there's a little bit of a difference in a lot of teams in 3A. 4A up, you start getting a little bit more athletes on both sides of the ball. We've seen St. James got the Arkansas commit at quarterback. Hanley went down and destroyed them, but they bounced back this week and beat Prattville Christian 63-35. Madison Academy defeated J.B. Pennington. Gordo defeated Winfield. Houston Academy, they did not play. They're going to stay right in that 6th spot. Geraldine surprises folks this year. Geraldine went into Plainview and beat them 35-3. Piedmont has Plainview this week. Piedmont they hosted Sylvania. Piedmont was the number 8 team. Sylvania was the number 9 team. Piedmont hosted Sylvania last week. They went to Sylvania, my bad, and they lost to Sylvania 23-7. Sylvania, another team that's been floating under the radar. I think they got a really good team. Geraldine's got a really good team. Both of them are in the same region. Anxious to see how that region plays out. We talked about Strong, a nice atmosphere. Played Daleville. Daleville's not that good this year. Beat them 41-16. Andalusia, we just talked about Andalusia, and I know that Coach has all the Andalusia he wants right now. If he wants them again, he's going to have to wait till and get them in the playoffs. They are both in the South, so they both will play each other probably around 2 or second round, third round, maybe even fourth round. I don't know, however it falls for the brackets. But Andalusia stays undefeated with a big win over Dale County at 56-6. Cherokee County, another team. This week will determine the North. I hate to say that this early. This week will determine the North for 4A, and it goes down between Cherokee County and Aniana. Aniana's coming into Cherokee County this week, and I don't know if I like Fluff, but he's a one-man show. But he's an Earl Campbell of high school football. But I don't know if he can do it by himself. But Cherokee County was still 3-0. They defeated Good Hope 35-0. Catholic of Montgomery defeated Booker T. Washington 56-6. Jackson, another good team in the South. They're 2-0. Defeated Orange Beach 50-2. Orange Beach this year thought they were putting together a good team. Jackson beat them 50-2. Jacksonville, we just talked about that. They're part of our game of the week against the Anniston Bulldogs. They went down to Hanley. That game was back and forth the whole game. Hanley pulls off the 32-24 victory. Hanley's ranked number 6. Jacksonville is ranked number 5. That may flip this week. Hanley is 3-0. We just talked about they beat number 5 Jacksonville team 32-24. West Morgan 3-0 defeated Brooke 83-53. I'm gonna call out the defense coordinator on that. Can we put some roadblocks up or something, because that's horrible to give up 83 points in a game. Just talked about Aniana. They're ranked 8. They will be traveling to the number 2 Cherokee County Warriors this week. They defeated Hanceville 43-24. T.R. Miller, another team that I think is ready to get back in the. They were a 3A powerhouse forever. Now they're in 4A. Can they play at the same level? Defeated Wilcox Central 47-12. Anniston, we just talked about them. They defeated Mumford this week 47-14. Coach said he wants to clean up some things, even though the score was that good. He just felt like it was a dirty, not dirty how they play, but got to clean up a lot of different things. Penalties, or how they executed. He wants to clean them up. And look, this is the week to have them clean. You want to go into Jacksonville with your best effort, because it's already said Jacksonville made them homecoming. So you want to go in there and do what you can do. Number 5, 5A classification. I called this change when Ramsey lost last week. They won this week. They came back with a vengeance and defeated Jasper 65-6, but they're still ranked 2nd. The number 1 team in 5A is the Pleasant Grove Coastal Bows team. They defeated Winona. They don't like the way I say Winona. They defeated Winona 35-21. Faith Academy is ranked 3rd. They lost to a good Gulf Shores team. We know how good this Gulf Shores team is. That's the team that put them out of the state last year. Faith beat them, knocked them out of the playoffs last year. A little bit of revenge early in the season. They'll wind up probably playing each other again later on. Charles Henderson played in the championship game last year. Defeated Greenville 39-6. Moody defeated Alexander, was at that game. Alexander's really struggling this year. They got a lot of things inside and outside the program going on. It's just, but I will say this, their fans are there in droves. I mean, listen, no matter how bad it feels right now, no matter what the outcomes of the games are, their fans are there like they always are. And that's why we say around here, it's one of the toughest places to go play is in the Valley. Death Valley is one of the toughest places to go play, probably in the state. It is one of the toughest places to play. UMS Wright defeated LaFleur 13-6, a good defensive game there. Beauregard lost to Valley 14-21. I wasn't really surprised at that. Valley's got a really good quarterback. They got a couple really good athletes, but the quarterback, Cameron Dooley, could play with anybody, and got the name of the name is a great name, Cameron Dooley. I want to call him Can Run Dooley because I watched film on him, and he can run. But Gulf Shores, we just talked about that, 3-0, defeated Faith Academy 31-16. Central Clay County. Now, Central Clay County, for some reason, gets overlooked every year. They're ranked 9th. I'm not saying that's overlooked, but Coach Danny Horn always has that product ready to play, and they defeated Tallahassee 41-7. Leeds 2-1 right now. They defeated Springville 23-7. I was impressed with that win. Springville's offense, they run that wing tee or whatever it is, the gun tee. That's a tough offense if you don't play it every week. Leeds did a great job stopping 23-7. Let's move into 6A. Saraland. Saraland, to me, is probably the best team in the state, any classification. Doesn't matter what classification it is, 1A, 2A, 7A. 6A, Saraland, number 1, defeated St. Paul's, which was the number 10 team, 47-3. Clay Chalkville, another really good team, and this is bad. We talked about Pale City. They had 3 really tough games to start the year. Moody, Leeds, Clay Chalkville, and it just doesn't get any easier. But, I know it's tough on Coach Probst, but a 46-7 loss to Clay Chalkville. Clay Chalkville's going to do that to a lot of other people, Coach, so keep your chin up. Pale City Panthers, you guys, it's just a tough one right now. Hillcrest Tuscaloosa 3-0 defeated Northridge 48-3. Parker defeated Jackson Nolan 49-6. Parker's got a kid that's as good as any kid. The McKeith kid can run. He's a big running back. Muscle Shoals, the offense coordinator up there, I know him. He's put together. They were good last year. They're getting better this year. Muscle Shoals is usually known for their defense, but their offense is starting to run now. They beat Columbiana 42-0. Hartselle, we just talked about a young Hartselle team. Bradley was talking about could Oxford come up to Hartselle this week and beat the young Hartselle team. They defeated Coleman, but they didn't. Coleman's not really like saying they defeated Coleman used to mean something. This year Coleman's down. We talked about it. 3A Mars Hill Bibles. They put it on Coleman too. So that's not a big feather in Hartselle's hat to say they beat Coleman 42-0. Mountain Brook 2-1 defeated Minor 28-0. Theodore defeated Murphy 39-7. I can't call my boy out. He's defensive coordinator at Murphy. Theodore's a good football team. I'm not going to, I got in trouble for calling my boy out. I like my boy Rip down there. So keep it up, Rip. You got to just take it on the chin, keep moving forward. Pelham 2-0 did not play. St. Paul's, like we said, they've lost to the number 1 team in the state in all classifications. Saraland 3-47. They scored 3 points against them, probably against the mop-up crew. 7A, let's get into 7A, and then we'll find something else to talk about. 7A, Thompson defeated number 4 Vestavia Hills 21-3. Now, Vestavia Hills has looked really good up to that point, so it tells me how good Thompson is. Vestavia Hills is ranked number 4. Central Phoenix City, they're 3-0, defeated The number 3 Enterprise, I wanted to see this go. I thought Enterprise was ready to step up and play with some of these elites. 48-7 not going to get it done, Enterprise. Not going to get it done. Enterprise will fall from the 3rd spot. They lost to the number 2 Central Phoenix City 48-7. That just tells me Central Phoenix City is back up on top where they always are. Auburn, we talked about Vestavia, they're 4th, Auburn's 5th. Auburn 2-0 defeated the number 6 team in 7A. Dothan 28-27, that's a barn burner. And Dothan's ranked 6, so it was number 5 versus number 6. Dothan's ranked 6, lost to Auburn. Hewitt Trustful defeated Oak Mountain 42-7. Mary Montgomery defeated number 9 Foley. Glad to see Foley back in the mix. They have been non-present in high school football for a while now, and I'm glad to see them back in the mix. It just seems better when Foley is part of the top 10s. But they did lose to Mary Montgomery 28-7. Foley's a 9th ranked team. We just talked about that. Mary Montgomery was 8th ranked team. Hoover is, I don't know what's going on with Hoover. I talked to some people today about Hoover, some water cooler talk, I guess you could say. Hoover, this is probably, without a doubt, this is one of the, I ain't going to say worst because it's not a bad team, but not one of the best teams Hoover's had in a long time. It's probably the least talented, and I'm not taking anything away from the kids. They just don't have the dogs, some of the dogs that they've had in the past. And so is Hoover's dominance, which has been down. They've not dominated in past recent years, but their dominance is really probably, it's a sad day in high school football because I never thought Hoover would not be the top dog in 7A. But they're not, and they should. Honestly, they've got the longest streak of being in the top 10 of any team in the state, and I'm wondering if that would, I don't know if we're just giving them life support and keeping them at 10th, but they did beat a Spain Park team this week 28-20, but Spain Park is not Spain Park. They're just not they're not the juggernaut that they've always been. Yeah, well, let's take a break, pay some bills, and see if my counterpart may slide in on us. If not, we'll just keep moving forward.
If you're the family with kids playing sports and the parents that are running 2 ways at once, then a Team 1 Chevy is perfect for your team. Baseball, softball, and soccer families can travel in all-American style with a new Chevy from Team 1. Bank on the best deal, a great selection, and the perfect vehicle for your all-American team.
Interest rates as low as 1.9% and no payments for 90 days when you finance with GM Financial.
Home of the best people, the best service, period.
When it rains, it pours. Be certain that your house is ready to survive the next storm. Noah's Ark specializes in protecting everything that is inside of your house by keeping water where it belongs, outside. Schedule your free home assessment today. Call Noah's Ark at 256-453-1580 or visit noahsarkwaterproof.com. Noah's Ark. Keep water out. Protect what's valuable in.
Hi, I'm Chandler Tyree.
And this is Austin Campbell.
Austin, you deliver the mail?
More like packages.
For the whole package, tune in on Friday nights at 10 p.m. After all Friday night's football action, we will deliver.
Welcome back to High School Primetime, Buckethead and the King No-Show. And but we've had a great show. We run through the top 10 and how they fared in each classification. We talked to Coach Rico Jackson and got a little insight on what they were going to need to do to be successful this weekend. Now, Coach Chandler Tyree went up and met with Coach Clint Smith, and I think he's got some Clint Smith thoughts on this game as well.
All right, Coach, you was in a dogfight last week against one of the top teams in Class 4A, along with yourself, the Handley Tigers. How's your guys responded the first couple of days back?
It's been they've been good. Been upbeat. It's one of those games that both teams left it all on the field, and I was really proud of our guys how they competed. The whole entire game. We were down at times, we were up at times in the game. Just a really good high school football game. Great atmosphere, and really a playoff type atmosphere. So we had a good day yesterday. Hopefully we'll continue that over the next couple of days this week as we get ready for Anniston.
Coach, you just alluded to it. You played Handley last week. You play Anniston this week. A tough 2-week schedule. How are you getting ready to prepare for them, and who are some guys that you feel like you're going to have to kind of contain for the Anniston Bulldogs?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough stretch for us. 2 top 10 matchups. Anniston's going to come in here. They've got really good size and, of course, speed and playmakers at a lot of places. And so, we're going to have to do a really good job with our special teams, with field position. Going to have to tackle well in space and things like that. So, we just got to do a real good job of executing and just playing solid football, taking care of the ball, and that's some of the things we got to do in these big games.
Coach, everybody knows about Jim Ogle. Tell us a little bit about the 2 receivers that's kind of been your big play guy so far this year.
Yeah, 2 of our receivers, Kedrick Fisher and Monte Sinclair. Both these guys have been having really good seasons. Jim does a really good job getting them the ball. They have a great relationship with Jim and with each other, and so they're all on the same page, and that's really paid dividends for us. Our offensive line's done a really good job of protecting Jim and giving him the time to find them, and they do a really good job of running their routes and catching the ball. So been really pleased with those 2 guys. They've been very productive for us and for our offense.
So last question, but I've been really impressed with your defense so far as well. Who are some guys that's kind of stood out to you defensively for the Golden Eagles so far
defensively,
this year?
Ryan Mitchell, our starting middle linebacker, this is his 3rd year start, and he's had a really good start to the season. Charlie Wright's also been doing really well at linebacker, and so those 2 guys have really stood out as far as making plays, and been real proud of our defense. I thought, especially last week against Handley and their front 7, I thought we played very physical and really matched their intensity, and so really proud of how the defense has been playing, and especially those 2 guys.
All right, well, Coach, we'll be here this week for the TV24 Primetime Sports Game of the Week. Can't wait to watch it. Should be a good one. Good luck to you and the Golden Eagles.
Appreciate it. Glad to have y'all here.
Like you said, we alluded to it earlier, great interview, Coach Chandler Tyree and Coach Clint Smith. We alluded to the 2 receivers, St. Clair and Fisher. St. Clair is 12. Number 12, he's a lone kid. He seems out, I don't know how he does it, but he gets open, and he would probably be the top guy if I were playing him and a defense coordinator, that I would have my best guy covering him. But they're so good that you got to bracket them, both of them. And so that's 4 guys that you're going to have to cloud cover them 2 receivers, because that's how good they are. And so that should, on any other team, open up the run really well, because you really got to cover them 2 or they will get open. And if you forget about the quarterback, Ogle can come out of the backfield and he can run as well. He feels like, you heard him talk about Anniston. I knew they had a lot of respect for each other. They're big up front. They got a lot of speed. That's what Coach is saying. Yeah, most coaches are going to say stuff like that because they don't want to give any bulletin board material. But here's the thing. I think both these coaches are telling the truth about these teams, because I've seen both of them. And I've seen both of them play. I know they're playmakers. And I can't say enough about it. I'm excited about this Friday night's TV 24 primetime sports game of the week. I mean, I am really excited about it. And to get the best coverage of everything, you'll get the winning drive starting at 5:30. That will be our talk of the town. We will be talking about that game in depth, a lot more in depth, because we have Coach involved. You know, Coach thinks he knows everything about these teams. He's played them. In the last couple of years, last 4 years, he's played them every year. So he does know a lot about these two teams. So he can bring a lot of insight to these two, to letting you know what he thinks this team can do to this team, and this team's got to do to stop this team. And the good thing about that is we go straight into talking to our guys that'll be calling the game with their insight of this game, which is second to none. I mean, you've heard the games being called. Our play-by-play and our color guy is as good as it gets in the game. And Dawson Strickland and Jackson Newt. And Jackson Newt's a young kid at this game, but he is really good. And he's senior Mumford. That tells you about Mumford, folks. We way ahead of the game. I mean, he is really, really, really came on strong. When they first talked about bringing a young guy on, you know, in the studio, we were a little worried about whether he's ready for that. But he came in, and you didn't know it was his first game. I don't even have to tell you, because you don't know. You don't know when his first game was, because it didn't act like it was his first game. And they bring a lot of insight, and they're really good and stay on top of the game. No downtime. Halftime, they talk about it. At the end, they're going to give you a breakdown. And then you go straight from that to the coaches show, which is, hands down, we know it, hands down every week, been the number one post-game show, hands down every week in our area. And I mean, it's unbelievable what Scheller and Austin bring to the game. But here's the thing. We have so many people behind the scenes this year doing things that goes unseen. We have so many shooters at games. We're probably twice as many games this year as we were last year, taking video and talking to coaches. We have people out on, involved. We have people getting coaching interviews that we haven't had in the past. And so when I say high school sports coverage on Friday nights, you shouldn't think of any other place but TV 24 Primetime Sport. I mean, not knocking any of our other guys. I like all the coverage these kids get. But as far as top-notch, number one coverage, TV 24 Primetime Sports. I mean, if we can't talk about ourselves, who else is going to talk about us? But this will be the fourth week of the season, or this is week 4. It's actually week 5. It's crazy how they do week 0. But I'm excited to see what week 4 holds. We've got better as the years went on, and I can't wait to see how much. But we're like a team. We're just gelling. The quarterback in the box in there, he's got us gelling right now. So, I mean, we'll see how much better we found our weaknesses. We found some strengths, and we're working toward them. So we'll see how it plays out the rest of the year. But I feel really confident about the team we have here at TV 24 Primetime Sport. Let's jump into some power rank. I'm looking at some power rankings here that they don't usually start putting these out till about this time of the year. And most of these are computer generated, but they're done with a lot of thought process involved. Home field advantage, who they played, things like that. So I want to start with 6A in our area. We know that I still feel like Saraland's the best team in the state in any classification. So when I say Saraland is number 1, I'm talking about in all of the state. I think they could play. I think they can beat Thompson. I think they can beat Central Phoenix City. I think they're my number 1 team in the state. Clay Chalkville's ranked number 2. I feel good about Clay Chalkville being number 2. Hillcrest Tuscaloosa is ranked 3rd. This is a power ranking now. Muscle Shoals ranked 4th. I like that pick. Parker. We talked about the McKeith kid that they got at running back. He's as good a running back as anybody in the state, bar none. He's already got an offer. So he's Parker deserves that. Hartselle is ranked. They're ranked 6, and listen, they'll get their chance this week to prove that they're 6, because right below them is Oxford. They're ranked 7th in this power ranking. So in this power ranking, we have a 7th and a 6th ranked team playing each other this weekend. So Oxford travels to Hartselle. We'll have cameras there. You can watch it on the Big O Sports Network, which is our Facebook page for Oxford High School Sports. And guys, like I said, we give you 3 options every week. Most every week. It just depends on if they're our game of the week or not. This week, it just so happened Jacksonville and Anderson are our game of the week. So you got the Lincoln Sports Network, which is the TV24 Lincoln Sports Network, which will have Lincoln game on it. They're at Alexandria. They're at Alexandria. So that is that will be at the Death Valley. We just talked about how tough Death Valley is to play. Lincoln come off not a big loss, but Southside imposed their will a little bit last week, which they've done that just about every game because they can run the football. But Oxford is at home. Huffman at home. It's homecoming. The festivities will be going crazy over here on Thursday night. Buckhead and the King usually in the homecoming parade. I don't know if the King can put down the pitchfork or whatever his tones long enough to get in the parade this year, but we have talked about it. But the thing about it is it's homecoming for Oxford. Coach, I know Coach Adams is preaching no distractions, no distractions, no distractions. That's hard to do on homecoming. But there you go. You got 3 different games. Oxford hosting Huffman for homecoming. Have all the homecoming festivities probably on our show. I would say yes. Then you got Lincoln going to Alexandria. So here's the great thing. And since it's all on Facebook, you can watch all of them at the same time. Just click back and forth. Then our game of the week will be on Facebook as well. With not only that, it'll be on all of our other outlets, Roku, Fire Stick, Facebook, YouTube, and so you can get your football fix on Friday nights right here on TV24 Primetime Sports, no doubt about it. But I'm just glad that we offer that many games and we put out a good product in every game. So that's the good thing about it. People can say they do 100 games, but if it's not a good product, nobody wants to watch it. We put out good products. So that's the key to that. That's what, and you guys can help us by spreading the word. TV24 is the place to be. You've done it all year, and numbers don't lie. We've seen them. And so we want to thank you guys for tuning in to TV24 Primetime Sports and all of our media outlets. However you're watching it, thank you very much. But like I said, Oxford, Hartselle, they play in 2 weeks, I think, in 2 weeks. And I'm anxious to see how that matchup goes when Oxford travels to Hartselle. So we'll see. We'll see. I'll let Hartselle stay there right now. Yeah, Pennsylvania, that's what I thought. Pennsylvania next week and then Hartselle the following week. So Helena and then Mountain Brook and then Ben Russell finish out the top 10. Notables, Gadsden City, which I think Gadsden City is for real this year. And here's the thing about it. We watched Oxford go up and push Fort Payne around like it wasn't anything right here on TV24 Primetime Sports for their jamboree. And we're not putting too much emphasis on the jamboree, but we watched it. Oxford could have scored at will. They could have kept scoring. And so to see Fort Payne doing so well since that game makes me think that Oxford may be for real this year. And we'll see it play out. I'm not putting any pressure on Coach Adams, Coach, but you beat a good McAdory team already, a good Huntsville team already. So, just keep it rolling. All I can say, keep it rolling. This week, get it done against Huffman. Next week, Penson's not the Pinson that it's been being. They're still pretty decent, but they're not the state's top-ranked team, Pinson Valley. Hartselle, you owe Hartselle one from last year. Go up there and get it done. So the next 3 games are big games for Oxford Yellow Jackets. Let's roll into let's go back and look at a different classification. Let's look at 4A, since we got 3 teams right here in our area that are in the top 10. And here's the funny thing. The computer has thrown out Catholic of Montgomery being the number 1 team and not Andalusia. I think this computer needs to be thrown in the trash, and let's get another one, because Andalusia is the number 1 team in 4A. Cherokee County is number 3. I think Cherokee County is a 2, maybe 3, so I'll give them the 3, but not Andalusia's 1, regardless. Jackson, we talked about how good Jackson was. Jackson is in the South, and we talked about that. So here's the crazy thing. Jacksonville's in the South. Hanley is in the South. Alabama American Christian in the South. Bibb County in the South. Jacksonville in the South. All of these teams are in the top 10 with Andalusia and Catholic Montgomery. Cherokee County is the lone northern team in the top 10. I mean, that's Oneonta's on down. Anniston is probably 15th right now in this computer poll. Etowah, they had a big loss. They're probably 20th. Andalusia is 12th. I mean, Oneonta is 12th, which is who plays Cherokee County this week to see who goes to this. I'm calling it my Super 7 pick. Whoever wins the Oneonta Cherokee County game this week is in the Super 7. So that's 4A for you. That's a tough draw to be in the South in 4A. I wouldn't care what I don't even move me up to 5A. Just put me in the North. I mean, because the 4A South is horrible. Let's look at 5A North. Ramsey, the computer don't like my pick at first, so I put Ramsey back at number 1. You got Pleasant Grove at number 2. Fairview is 3. Central Clay County getting respect by the computers. They were 9th in the polls. They're 4th by the computer. Charles Henderson about the same in 5th. Russellville, we all know Russellville from the days of old. I'm glad to see Russellville back in it. Gulf Shores, probably a little lower than what I think Gulf Shores probably will be later on. Gunnersville, Moody, I'm still not sold on Moody. Moody's in the top 10 on the computer, and it's just because of the opponents they've beaten, but I'm still not sold on Moody. Arab, I like Arab. Elmore County is the surprise team in the state in 5A, and we watched them on our sister station on a Thursday night destroy Chris Melly's Sylacauga Aggies team, and that surprised me. It really surprised me. And Hanley plays Elmore County this week, I think. I'm anxious to see that game and see how that turns out. But you got Leeds on down a little bit. Eufaula, there's a team that's on Pell City's schedule. I hate to keep beating that dead horse, but they got to go to Eufaula, and Eufaula's ranked way up in 5A. Pell City is a 6A school, but I mean, that's a tough one. Pell City's got a tough draw this year. Let's look at 3A. This may be more intriguing than any of them. 3A, Mars Hill, no doubt, no question about that. Madison Academy, I like that pick there as well. St. James, they're ranked 3rd. They were the number 1 team. Hanley dismantled them. But Hanley's 4A, they're 3A, so we'll leave it at that. Gordo, ever since Gordo moved back to 3A, they've been a powerhouse, being 4th. Trinity's always a powerhouse. Geraldine, Sylvania, both of them are in the same region. Both of them are ranked 6th and 7th right now by the computers. Sand Mountain's hot. I like that. I like both of these teams. I think both of these teams are really good. Sylvania, we seen what they did to Piedmont last week. Geraldine, we seen what they did to Coosa Christian, and everybody thought it was a fluke, but they went on a roll since then. Mobile Christian, Lauderdale County, Winfield, Houston Academy, Ohatchee. I'm surprised to see them, but that's okay. Coach Chris Finley, you keep doing what you're doing. They're down about 14th, Piedmont's 15th, Westbrook Christian is 16th. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out. Hoax Bluff. I know why Hoax Bluff is that low, because of the beating they took from Southside right here on TV 24. But the thing about it is Southside has proven to be a formidable opponent, and they doing it to everybody. Hoax Bluff went in last week and beat Glencoe's eyes out. So, we'll see. We'll see. I'll see. Let's just see what that. Looking down, Wellborn's about halfway down, maybe about 25th. We got to do something, Wellborn. I mean, show me, Coach Smith. I think you've had a pretty tough draw right here off the bat with Anniston and Ohatchee, and you got a week off last week to get better, to get well. So let's just see how that plays out, and we'll go from there. I think you got a Beulah team, which is just right under you coming in this week. So let's see how that works out for you. Weaver, I like to see Sachs and Weaver. Sachs is actually ranked higher than Weaver by the computer. I'm a little shocked by that. That is shocking. Let's just finish it out and go ahead and look at 2A as well. 2A, BB Comer, exactly where they need to be. Highland home. Fife is third. It's been a long time since Fife has not been on that top spot, or at least in the top two. And I'm anxious to see how that plays out. Hey, buddy, we just doing a show. We're just doing a show. You want to get involved with me?
I'm trying to get on the phone. I keep trying to call the phone and help you out since you're by yourself.
Well, here, you don't have to get on the phone. I'll move the phone over to you. How about that?
Okay.
Go ahead.
So Sachs don't play Weaver this week.
No, they don't play Weaver.
Okay, you just said they were ranked higher. Okay, I got you.
I was looking at this new computer ranking that's come out, and they had Sachs ranked higher than Weaver.
I got you.
Sort of
did the King stand you up tonight?
The King said he was signing autographs somewhere, kissing babies. Y'all put them babies up. King don't need to put his lips on no babies.
He better be careful now, because I heard Rico, he'll end up taking a spot. That man ain't afraid to get in the camera.
I tell you that. No, he jumped right in there and did his thing and wasn't scared of none of the questions I had. I didn't put him on too much of a hot seat. But I did not know that this was Jacksonville's homecoming.
I didn't know that either. We didn't get into that with Coach Clint Smith. Those kind of distractions.
So, did you get to hear any of the? I know you did the interview with Coach Clint Smith. Did you get to hear any of the interview with Coach Jackson?
I didn't. I heard just a hair of it. We had the Bucks 8U flag football team had a game tonight.
How'd the Bucks do?
All right, I got something to tell you. Tell them how the Bucks did.
Hey, Big Daddy, the Bucks won tonight.
The Bucks won again. Did you take one in?
Yeah, he didn't have one tonight, but he blocked good.
He does block good. He's one of them. When he gets older, he'll get the rock because he can block downfield. But the question I asked Coach Rico was, he said we want to stop the run and we want to stop the pass. He said that's hard to do. That's him saying it. But this is the thing I'll say. I truly believe for Anderson to be successful against Jacksonville, they've got to stop the pass. St. Clair and Fisher will eat them up if they don't stop the pass first.
Well, that's kind of the thing. Like, if you bracket one of those guys, the other one can beat you. And what I mean by bracket is putting one underneath, one over the top. So when I say that, you either putting one guy down low inside and taking away the slant or anything like that, and then you're putting another guy over the top to take away the deep ball. And so when you do that to one of those guys, you can't do that to both guys. If you do, you take too many people out of the box.
What?
And so you're going to have to single one of those guys.
You're going to have to cloud cover one and bracket the other, is what I said. You're going to have to not give away what you're going to do to one and bracket the other. And that's what I said.
I talked to a coach earlier in the week, and it's hard against Jim Ogle because if you show what you're doing too early, he will pick you apart.
That's why I'm saying you got to be cloud and then break into a bracket on one and cloud the other, because there's no way you got to make Ogle go to a third and fourth look, because if you give him that first two options, he's gonna hurt you. And then if you have too many people drop back, he's just going to pull it down and run. And what people don't understand, he can do just as much damage on the ground as he can through the air.
Yeah, I think that his legs they're not going to run zone read and stuff like that with him. But if the play breaks down, he can scramble and make something happen with his legs. And so I believe it's going to be a great game. Here's what I want to see, though. I think Anniston, they got their run game going a little bit this last week. I'm ready to see if they can start a little faster offensively, because I think they're going to have to play fast and get started and score early. I think they're going to have to keep up with Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's going to get theirs offensively, but the question is, can Anniston score early and kind of keep the game in can it still be a ball game in the fourth?
I will say this, and I alluded this with Coach Jackson. Dobbs got more involved this week. The first 2 weeks, he was like getting his feet wet. This week, he sort of came out of his shell and got more involved. He's going to have to get a lot more involved this week. But
I think so.
But he had a lot of young kids. We've seen them with our own eyes. Me and you were there. He had some young kids step up to make plays this week out of the backfield. He's got some kids that he can move around.
The Cunningham kid, and then Jaden Hurd, a 2027 guy, he had a punt return for a touchdown. So he's got some young talent, but that young talent's got to continue to develop and grow up fast.
Well, now that he's got Wynn at about 95%, that's a big help to that offense as well.
Well, here's what I want to see. We keep talking about the skill guys. And, Anniston is still a pretty good size for a 4A football team up front.
Yeah.
But they ain't got a guy right now like Rock
to
get his paws on you and put you, either drive you 10 yards downfield and put you on the dirt for a pancake, or go set you on the bench.
Now, we talked about that.
Those guys from the O-line get nasty.
We talked about that, but one thing the coach said, no, he doesn't have that, but he's got a bunch of scrappier guys that are really scrappy and will get after him. And he's made some move. He had a guy that was playing the sniffer that you would call sniffer, has moved down to offensive line this week just to help. So he's making some moves. When his team's evolving, I mean, we've seen him evolve each week, and it'll continue to do that until he gets it right where he wants it at.
Yeah, I think, and that's the thing, in high school football, all you got to do is make the dance. You don't want to peak too early. You don't want to not peak at all. But if you can peak at the right time going into the playoffs, you can be dangerous, especially a team like Anniston.
Oh, no doubt. And look, we talked about it. He lost 25 kids. He's not making excuses. It's just not the same team as last year. Is it better or worse? He's not saying it's any worse. He's just saying this is a different Anniston look, different Anniston team, and they're gonna have a different identity. And like I said, they're gelling. They're growing each week. They're evolving each week into what Coach Rico Jackson wants from a team.
Well, I think when we talk about Jacksonville, we talked a lot about Anniston. We talk about Jacksonville, though, a team that a lot of people didn't give a chance last week going on the road at Handley, and it was a 24-20 ball game, Jacksonville in the third quarter.
Buckethead had Jacksonville coming home with the victory.
You did have them coming home with a victory. They fell a little short, but I think Jacksonville went and proved, though, that they can play. And I think, honestly, Handley is probably – now, I was talking to Coach Clint Smith. That front seven is unbelievable that Handley's got defensively. And so when you talk about Handley, I think they have one of the best teams in Class 4A football, if not the best. I know Andalusia's really good, but I think Handley is really, really good this year. I think they're super talented, and you win football games up front. And on both sides of the football, they're experienced. They didn't lose a single starter on the offense or defensive line. And I think they're a team that could be back in Tuscaloosa again and win another one this year in Class 4A. But Jacksonville went and toe-for-toe with them, so Jacksonville's proven that they're one of the top teams in Class 4A as well.
I told you that Jim Ogle was going to go down, bring a victory back, and put another star by his name. They didn't get the victory, but he should have put another star by his name because that's how well he played.
So I mean, here's the thing, though. Everybody that knows anything about 4A football knows that 4A South is tougher than 4A North. Now, not taking anything away from Cherokee County. Cherokee County's got a team that can win a state championship. But this year, I don't believe that their road to the state championship will be as difficult as it was last year.
This week decides. I think this week decides it.
But in 4A South,
Yeah.
in 4A South, you got Jackson, Montgomery Catholic, Handley, Jacksonville, Anniston, T.R. Miller,
Bibb County.
Bibb County,
Alabama Christian. I mean, American Christian, not Alabama Christian. American Christian. I mean,
4A South is loaded.
yeah, West Morgan.
So,
I mean, I was talking about this, but right before you called in, I was looking at these computer rankings that came out. 9 out of the top 10 teams in this computer ranking are from the north of South, with the lone Cherokee County sitting at third, and Aniana and Dessler, well, they're sitting right out. Dora, they're sitting right out the top 10.
well, no disrespect to Dessler, but Dessler's not the same.
No.
Like used to, when you heard the name Dessler, they were really.
Oh yeah, you heard the name
really good
Dessler.
ball team. But 4A South is tough. I mean, and we were talking to a coach earlier, and I won't say no names, before the season started, that said, look, I don't care if I stay 4A, if I go to a different classification or what, but I just want to go north wherever I go. I want to go north. I don't want to be in the South.
Yeah, and there's a reason. And Dankster don't want to be in 4A South. I mean, 4A South, you make it in 4A South, you're battle tested or you're injured, one of the two. You're going to be injured or you're battle tested. Now, let me ask you this, Coach, as I got you on there. This computer ranking has Catholic Montgomery number 1, Andalusia number 2. What do you feel about that?
You got who number 1?
Catholic Montgomery.
Listen, it's early in the year. You can't really go wrong. Catholic actually beat Andalusia last year in the regular season. I think you got to throw Handley in there with them too. But both of those teams are super talented, and I think they got a chance to be good. But some other games that we hadn't talked a whole lot about, I think Ohatchee-Sylvania's got
Gonna be a good one. Gonna be a good game. It's gonna be one of
those teams that like to run the football.
Gonna be one of our film session rooms this week.
But a game that's a little bit, it's in our viewing area, but it's not a game that we really cover on a Friday night just because of sending cameras that far. Is a matchup of Ramsey and Pleasant Grove.
That's gonna be a dandy. Number 1, number 2.
And I talked to Coach LeBeau earlier today about the matchup. He said they're still really, really good again, but Pleasant Grove has to worry about them and just take care of the football. If they take care of the football, they'll have a chance at the end. But most of the time, if you win the turnover battle, you got a chance to win the ball game.
That's right. That's right. That's going to be a good one. It's just a little bit outside of our coverage area, but it's going to be a good one.
So
one of the things me and you talked about, which coaches don't care about rankings, but the kids, I mean, it feels good to get respected a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And to leave Wadley and to leave Coosa Christian out of 1A I don't even know. No, well, I don't know. I hadn't seen the rankings today, but they haven't come out. They just should be coming out right now. But to leave them out of 1A last week was disrespectful. And I know coaches don't care, but I mean, I don't even know how you could leave them out. That tells me you got a lot of pencil pushers that are just going off people's names and what they used to could do. I mean, this computer system gives them a little bit better respect, but not as much as I want to give them. They got Wally ranked 4th. Pickens County we know is good. Elba and Milry. Wadley's 4th. Leroy is number 1 in the polls. They're 5th. Decatur Harris number 2 in the polls. They're 6th. Georgiana's down. Coosa Christian is 9th. Sweetwater's 10th.
Okay, I can handle that.
But one of these Raglan, that Raglan team I've been talking about that played Vincent, which is a 2A team.
Raglan's going to end up in there.
Really good, is moving up the ladder. They're going
to keep moving up. Hey, before I get off, Gray, I need your help real fast. Come here.
Hurry up now. We got about 2 minutes.
All right, Gray, I need you to tell me who's going to win Anniston versus Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
Gray's got Jackson. He's a fan. He's a big Jim Ogle fan.
He can't go wrong there. I mean, I'm not throwing no name. I'm not throwing my pick out, but They're both really good teams, so you couldn't go wrong either way.
I'll make sure next time I go see Rico, he ain't around me.
Yeah. Well, that wraps it up, Big. Appreciate you calling in, Coach. You could have called in a little early and got me off his island.
I tried to. The phone wouldn't go.
But thank you for watching. Guys, we went through a lot tonight. I know I rambled through a lot of stuff. Winning drive, 5:30. Get everything started on Friday night. Then we go straight into our game of the week, which is the Anniston Bulldogs headed to the Jacksonville Golden Eagles, the new renovated stadium. Right after that, catch Austin and Coach Chandler Tyree on the Coaches Show and get everything you need. And if you haven't got enough of that, join us every Saturday morning at Western Citizen. Get you a belly full and listen to the Breakfast Club talk about a lot of nonsense.